After Apple Picking by Robert Frost, evaluated by Scott McWilliams, Michael Back, Lynn Ashby, Ben Elder, and Matthew Morrison. Coming right at you with the reading of the entire poem.
My long two-pointed ladders sticking through a tree toward heaven still, and there's a barrel that I didn't fill beside it, and there may be 2 or 3 apples I didn't pick upon some bough, but I am done with apple picking now. Essence of winter sleep is on the night, the scent of apples I am drowsing off.
I cannot rub from strangers from my sight. I got from looking through the pane of grass. I skimmed this morning from drinking through, and held against the world of hoary grass. It melted, and I let it fall and break. But I was well, upon my night to sleep before it fell.
And I could tell what form my dreaming was about to take. Magnified apples appear and disappear, stem end and blossom end, and every fleck of russet showing clear. It keeps the pressure of a ladder round. I feel the ladder sway as the bows bend, and I keep hearing from the cellar bin the rumbling sound
of load on load of apples coming in, for I have had too much of apple picking. I am overtired of the great harvest I myself desired. There were 10,000 fruit to touch, cherish in hand, lift down, and not let fall,
for all that struck the earth, no matter if not bruised or spiked with stubble, went surely to the cider apple heap. As of no worth, one can see what will trouble the sleep of mind, whatever sleep it is. Were he not gone, the woodchuck could say whether it's like his, long sleep as I describe its coming on, or just some human sleep.
Here's Michael, who's going to emphasize the main themes in the poem and their significance.
Hey, it's your boy Mikey. I'm here to talk to you today about 3 major themes that can be seen throughout Robert Frost's After Apple Picking. The first theme I want to talk about is the theme of the beauty of nature, which can be seen in Robert Frost's setting of a village, first established in the beginning of the poem. This carries on to talk about the trees, as well as the apples that are hanging in the trees, to talk about how beautiful they are. He later emphasizes the scent of the apples, which is very beautiful and really creates a sensual feeling of the setting and what's going on. My second theme is the idea of death throughout the poem. The setting of the poem is also later on in the evening, which creates the idea that it could be later on in someone's life, and that would signify death. Another theme that I would like to talk about is the theme of success that can be seen through the poem. And this theme is portrayed by the ideas that Frost does not want to miss any of the apples into his basket, as well as his hopes that after his work is done, he will not have to continue working any longer.
Matthew, what poets relate to Robert Frost in terms of the poem After Apple Picking?
Robert Frost's poems consist of a traditional meter along with no preordained rhyme scheme. This is especially true in After Apple Picking. His rhyme in this poem is iambic pentameter, which is the most common form of meter used by Frost. Frost is not the only author who uses iambic pentameter. Walt Whitman also uses iambic pentameter in some of his poems, like Song of Myself. Nature is also something that is present in many of Robert Frost's poems. Other authors, like Emerson, talk about nature regularly in their poems, but Emerson seems to think of nature as a symbol for his poems. Emerson describes that by understanding nature, one can understand his own spirit. Death is another subject that is brought up in some of Frost's poems. One of his longer poems, The Death of a Hired Man, is one that is brought up when talking about Frost. Other poets, like Emily Dickinson, have death as the main subject for their poems. However, Emily's poems are more depressing and straightforward than Robert's poems. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. Lynn, tell our viewers the most important symbols in this poem.
Sleep, or the awaiting of sleep, is an important symbol used in the poem. I am drowsing off, and I have had too much are 2 lines used to support this symbol. A repetitive task is often the cause of such desire for an awaiting of sleep. Dreams are also a symbol in the poem. This animal versus human dream is illustrated at the end of the poem when the author compares a chipmunk sleep to a human sleep. The sleep of mind, whatever sleep it is also a line used to support the dream. Seasons are also used to show the awaiting time of sleep or rest. Apples are often picked at the end of fall, beginning of winter, and the author at one point calls sleep a winter sleep. These seasons are showing that rest is sometime in the future. The most fascinating symbol I found when researching this poem was a biblical symbol. When describing the fall of human story, or the Adam and Eve story, the forbidden fruit is often portrayed as an apple. The author also uses lines such as "I let it fall and break," and "cherish in hand, lift down, and not let fall." These lines point to some sort of biblical symbol, with the apple and with not letting it break or fall.
What is Frost's background?
Some interesting facts about Robert Frost are that he was born in 1874 and died in 1963. He was born in California but identified himself with New England. His father died when he was only 11 years old, and he occasionally attended Dartmouth College and Harvard University.
In what ways does poetry explain things in the real life of Robert Frost?
Robert Frost describes poetry as an act of clarification. He even says so in one of his poems when he says, "outer and inner weather." He's talking about nature and how it relates to the soul, the mind, etc. He uses nature to clarify different things, such as in After Apple Picking, he says that he's tired of apple picking, but he still does it anyways. And he also spent 3 to 4 years writing a book and had a hard time getting it published. And he could have been tired of writing the book, but he did so anyways because he had to finish what he started, and he had to see it through.
Is there any imagery in this poem going on?
Robert Frost uses simple images to make his poems seem simple and unplanned. You can easily see this in After Apple Picking, as picking apples is such a common thing to do, and it makes the poem seem very simple and unplanned, when in reality the poem actually has a much deeper meaning.
That's all for us talking about Frost today. I'm Scotty Mac. See you later.